Woo! Woo! Look, I just been keeping my poise. Made by the million, but still unemployed. They text me about green, but not on Android. She not my shawty, she filling the void. I make the sounds that cut through the noise. He think he a man, but he chillin' with boys. Put down the liquor, start drinking LaCroix. The pain wasn't choice, but now I rejoice. My uncle had told me that I was the one. I played the shit smart, now my bragging and dumb. Lil' shawty had hit me, said she wanna come. Her dresses is black, but she not a nun. I'm so Pasadena, cause that's where I'm from. Some bangers, some hoes, them with guns. They scheming for riches, they playing it numb. I'm second, I wins, cause I'm second to none. Look, what the you think I do it for? Do it for? Ay, looking in the mirror, you the go, ay, I've been out here grinding 24.
Yo, what's good, family? Welcome back to Secure the Bag, the show where four entrepreneurial cousins break bread, break myths, and break the cycle of being broke. I'm your host, Mike Evans, and tonight we're tackling the class they never put on your high school schedule. Financial Literacy 101, what schools forgot to teach us. Look, they made sure we knew the Pythagorean theorem, but somehow what's a 401k never made the final exam. Right, so we're pulling out the chalkboard, the jokes to teach you budgeting, saving, credit, compound interest magic, minus the boring textbook. So grab your notebook, your cousin, and maybe that friend who still thinks APR is a new rapper, because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to make your money pass every pop quiz life throws at it. Let's secure this knowledge and the bag together. Fellas, what's going on, man? How y'all doing today?
Hey, what you say, the Pythagorean what? Say that again.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Bro, what school you went to? I ain't never heard of that shit.
My brother, I don't even know what it is either. Look, that's for the introduction. I'm gonna Google it real quick and I'll get back to you. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
That boy said the Pythagorean theorem, he said.
Wow, that was deep.
Yeah, man, listen, like stuff that we think we should know, or we like the Pythagorean theorem, we think they taught us, but most of us don't remember that. At some point they probably said it, but none of us don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure somebody out there know what it is, but
APR is a new rapper. That was dope. That was dope.
Too funny. So man, so we're talking about financial literacy, right? We're talking about things that we didn't get taught back in the day. So what's even right now, some of those, I guess you would say, those facts or those stereotypes around money that people taught you guys or you heard growing up that you feel like this isn't true nowadays?
That was a good one.
Yeah, it's bro. It's I don't know where to start. It's a lot of stuff, man.
How about money grows on trees? How y'all feel about that? Or money doesn't grow on trees? Excuse me.
Yeah, money doesn't grow on trees.
They do got money trees though, right? That's the thing.
He said that's the thing.
Nah, that's a thing. It's a thing. Money tree.
Hey, King, real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but your screen is kind of dark, my brother.
Hold on, young blood.
What's your thoughts though? What's some myths you feel like back in the day a lot of people said, but as you grew older, you feel like is just gone now?
Yeah, one of the big things that keeps coming into my mind is you work and you save your money. Work and save your money. And I feel like I the obvious is the obvious, but how? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different moves you can make with your money that you don't really know what's the right way or what works or what doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And then you get caught into, following people on Instagram and that, might not even be professionals or whatever and doing what they say. You know what I mean? So I wish the schools would, start more with the basics. I mean, yeah, I think they, back then we had checkbooks, you know what I'm saying? Y'all probably don't know nothing about that, but
we was born in the 1900s. We ain't touched checkbooks.
We had to balance checkbooks, you know what I'm saying? They taught us that much, That's make sure you got enough money, but juggling bills and all of that stuff, like life be lifing as an adult. Adulting is real. So with a lot of things going at you, man, it's just how do you effectively, do those things and efficiently?
Yeah. Jason.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest is just to piggyback on what Gerard said is just the education about what to do with money. It's funny when you think about questions like this, you think about rich dad, poor dad, right? You have the rich dad, you have the poor dad, and what was the difference between both of them? It was mindset, right? And I think most of the time people don't want to learn new things. I was having a conversation the other day, and this individual, they know everything. You can't teach them anything they know. And I'm like, if you're new to an industry, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Just learn the way business is supposed to go, right? Learn the way finances work. Learn the way money work. Then you figure out later how to put your own spin and twist to it. Because what happens is so many people come into new ideas and doing their own thing, but guess what? Success leaves footprints, right? We don't learn those footprints where we grew up, right? Our family wasn't teaching those footprints. They didn't know them themselves, right? So now we have to figure all this out by ourselves. And then when you go through that figuring out stage, you start hearing these theories that make absolutely no sense, And then you start learning these traits and you take these traits with you into adulthood. Then you start talking to people about these traits. But let me tell you something about these traits and about Jason Bitten when he got to the world of finance and he started to be around millionaires and successful people. They will look at me like I was crazy, like, what the hell are you talking about? And then that's when you start learning, like, damn, half of the stuff we're learning is just passed on through generation and generation, and they're absolutely not true. They might be true in your small bubble, but to the macro size of things and the economy, man, it really doesn't make much sense. You're literally just, you're struggling. You're going from paycheck to paycheck, and most of it is because you don't have the knowledge more than anything.
No, that makes sense, bro. That definitely makes sense. I think a lot of people, a lot of us, we try to teach faster than we try to learn sometimes. You know what I mean? We always want to give,
100%.
but sometimes it's not even the right information as much as we think it is, especially when you get into new circles. Like even what you may say may be right, but it's not always relevant depending on where you are.
That's why financial literacy, we got a couple of guests coming on in the next couple of months. I want to ask everybody a question. What is financial literacy to you? Because when I look through the internet and I look at podcasts and I'm looking at the new wave of social media and the way people give information, what I'm thinking, what people are meaning by financial literacy is, you got to be an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, right? Me and Mike, we spoke about that today. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. There's a cost that comes with that, right? The second thing is you got to get to the bag. So you got to get that credit card. They teach you, right? You got to get the credit card, and that's financial literacy to most people. Learn how to get a credit card, fix your credit, and then run your debt up $200,000-$300,000 and pay somebody $1,000 to go to their class. And the next thing you know, very few people actually succeed. So that person who's not really running a structured business just got about $500,000 from everybody doing a class that they really don't know 100% about. And now that's what they call financial literacy. That's where everybody's getting lost now because they're thinking financial literacy is knowing credit. It's like, it's more complex than that, right? It's a whole economy of financial literacy, which you need to learn from balancing checkbooks, from knowing about stocks, knowing how your 401k, knowing which 401k to choose based on your goals for you and your family, knowing how to buy a house, know when to buy a house, right? We go all the time, people are forcing people into buying homes with a strategy that they never done themselves. That's why we always preference, audience, that what we speak about, we've actually done purchasing homes, flipping homes, doing investment properties. We have that experience based on our experience. There's other people who don't have that same experience, but people caught up and they calling it financial literacy. That's the scary part about it right now, because anybody can go online and say, hey, this is financial literacy. Oh, that's financial literacy? Yeah, you got to learn how to get a credit card. You got to fix your credit, learn how to get a credit card. Bro, that's not financial literacy. That's idiocracy at its finest, because you're going to put yourself in more debt than you were previously in.
Listen, I believe in credit. I believe in leveraging your credit. I believe in
100%.
Leveraging debt. Like, all of that, all aspects of of business and life, right? Use the debt. But if I see another person ask for a business line of credit that don't have a business, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna lose my shit. Yo, I'm trying to get this business line. I'm trying to get a business line of credit. All right, well, how you gonna pay it back? Is my question. If you can answer that, then we'll I'll help you out. But like people are looking at Instagram and Navy Federal give you this. All right, how you gonna pay it back? How about making your business profitable? And a lot of times the money that you asking for or you think you need, you don't even need. You just need to do the thing.
Yeah.
You just need to execute the thing, and so that worries me a lot when with this. It is a trend. It's a trend right now. It's something that's going on, and you can get a business line of credit. It's cool if you got a bit. One of my boys, he got several businesses. He's like, yo, I need a business line so I could front my payroll for the next couple of months, or I need to get this box truck or whatever. All right, cool. But it's dudes that want the bag to go buy cars, and you know what I mean, like be profitable. How is your business going to be profitable? That's the question.
That's where you said like what's financial literacy, outlet to me, but to someone else, what I think it is sometimes is just getting money. You know what I'm saying? Just having money to some people's financial literacy, where like, hey, I make $100,000 a year, I'm good. You know what I mean? But then they lack the.
But it's not literacy though, because you don't understand money.
100%. But that's where, to me, that's where I think some people's mindset is just as long as I make money, I'm financially okay.
Right.
But not realizing living paycheck to paycheck is not the way of life. Not setting a budget, not understanding what your insurance is or whatever, like, some things that you said already, but just not taking that time to go deep into what they actually own and to understand it properly. Yeah. So that's just my thoughts on that.
I want to go back, man, before we get too far, because everybody said something but me. So I'm gonna say that thing that they told us, go to school, get a good job, and things will be better off for you.
Wait, say that again.
I had to mute my daughter. Started whining. Anyway,
what happened?
When we all went to school, go to school, get a good job. Things gonna be good. Work hard. Listen, man. A lot of times, the people that work hard, it's way more than working hard. You got to meet new people. You got to network. You got to connect with people that's already winning or people that know more than you. Because it's just working hard. You might have to cut some corners. I'm not saying illegally, but you might have to do different things than what your parents or what somebody else told you to do, because that stuff don't work, man. People been working at their job for 30 years working hard. They still probably don't got a house. They probably still don't know what financial literacy is, and they probably got a raise and different things like that. And to go back to what Mike said about making money and making more money. And it's not about the money. As somebody else said a little while ago, it's about the mindset. If you don't change your mindset, it don't matter how much money you make. You're still gonna be broke mentally. You could be a millionaire tomorrow, and you're gonna be trying to kill yourself in a year because you're gonna be in a worse position than you was before you got the $1 million, because you ain't change your mindset. You ain't get around the right people. You ain't get a financial advisor or somebody that can help you grow your money while you sleeping and different things like that.
Yo, I have a few different clients. Like, I keep seeing this happening where the market is up right now. The real estate market is up, and a lot of people are cashing out on their investment, on their properties, on their equity. And most of the people are taking that equity and throwing it in a savings account. And I wish there was a way, what am I trying to say? I know there's a way where they could take that money, put it somewhere, and live off of dividends or live off of, the interest. or something like that. I wish more people would do that is what I'm trying to say.
But see, that's where real quick. That's where again, that's where like people just getting money, they think that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Just getting
Right.
it, but you're not like you just said, taking it, putting it in a savings account. That's just crazy.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not crazy though. It's not crazy. They're only doing what they learned. What somebody
right.
told them to do.
That's
Have
facts.
money in the bank. They want to just go like this on their phone and check it every day and just see the numbers in their account.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't know that it's other places they could place their money. Like even with you or somebody like Alonzo who does financial literacy, or they have financial services show you where to grow your money at. They don't know people like that. That's why this podcast is important, because we talk about different things. We talk about how we can show you different strategies on building your money and taking your life to the next level. And people think like, this is for just like content and all those different things like that. No, we showing you different things. And if we don't got the answers, if we know somebody that got the answers, that's who we're gonna connect you to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what it's really about. Because they really doing what they doing what their mother or father told them to do. They don't know that they could get a high yield savings account. They don't know they could purchase a life insurance policy and they could borrow against that money and use that money to start a business or buy a business that's already thriving. The different things like that. They don't know about stuff like that.
We had
That's why,
one more real quick. We had an elderly lady who did just that, right? So she had about 500,000 equity. Sold her house for like 500,000, and she didn't have. I guess she was going into like a retirement facility or something like that. And they were waiting for her room to become available, or however it works. But took the bread, put it in a high yield savings account. Alonzo just said high yield savings account. This was back when high yield savings account was paying like 7%. So they took the bread, put it in there. She was making $2,000 a month off of the interest. That was able to pay for her apartment until she got straight in the nursing home or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you could cash out and live off of $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, like, plus whatever else you getting, you know what I mean? Social Security or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that goes a long way. Like that's crazy. Like that's a boss move.
But a lot, a lot of that though, Gerard, fellas, it's our industries, man. It's our industries, bro. We're not getting the education. We're not getting the skills needed to put that out to the public, bro, to our customers. Like when we, even as a realtor and loan officers, right, and financial advisors, right, and financial professionals, we should be skilled enough to advise people on how to do these things, but we don't. Because what happened now is I need my numbers to reflect a certain number so I can look like I'm doing well and not provide the service that's required to provide client. So what happens is you're going to get a loan officer. They're going to look at everything. They're going to know in their head, this is not a good situation for the client, right? But that loan officer is going to do that for the client because that realtor on the other side that gave that referral is counting on him to do it. Because if he don't do it, he's going to he's going to be like, I'm going to lose my relationship with that realtor, right? And most of the time, it's going to happen that exact way. So instead of the realtor or the loan officer saying, you know what, this ain't the best deal. I have so many refinances over the past 4 or 5 months. I didn't refi none of my clients. You know why? The rate's too high. It did not make any sense to refinance them. And if the rates fall, and they don't even need the refinance, they just want to lower their payment. And if the rates fall in 6, 7 months or a year, I got to refinance them again. They're going to lose all that money they just refi to appease somebody that's not paying their bills. So I think it falls a lot on our industry to educate the consumer, right, on what's best for them, right, by giving them options and showing them different things, by not just saying, you know what, I work with this guy because that's my friend or whatever, or, we got a deal going on, and be like, no, I'm going to send him to this person because he's the best choice for the client. He's going to do the best thing for the client. And I'm seeing this all the time, man. I have people come to me when I refer financial advisors and stuff like that. They come back to me. They be like, "Oh, he told me to do this. He told me to do that. I didn't even ask for this." And it's like they don't even ask them what their long-term, short-term goals are, man. They're just giving them products and services that have nothing to do with them, but to give money to them in their pocket
Mm. Right.
for each other. So we don't trust each other. So guess what happens? Other communities like, oh, they don't trust each other, so they're gonna come to me and I'm going to just backdoor to them and do worse with the other people than what their own people were doing, because guess what? They ain't going to even know, because they're going to think what I'm doing is the right thing for them. Bro, it's a circle, bro. It's a rat race that's happening right now, but most people don't want to look at it in that capacity. Like, everybody's getting screwed over because of the dollar, right? We got to make money. We ain't going to work for free. I'll tell you, look, I'm not working for free, but you got to be able to do the right thing for the customer, man. You got to be able to do the right thing for the customer and not just try to pad your that's going on right. That's why it's skewed. That's why it's so skewed right now. And in the illusion of wealth is there more than the actual, like the actual wealth in our communities right now.
Yeah. So Gerard, even with that situation, that story that you broke down, I think it sounded good, right? To where, obviously who wouldn't want to live off interest? But I definitely believe she could have done more with the money. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
That would have secured that 500,000 a little better and would have made her a little bit more money. You know what I mean? Especially like when you put it into a bank, you only backed by the FDIC about 250,000. You know what I'm saying? So if something happened, now you don't lost $250,000 of her dollars, and now you kind of out of money, and you kind of got to hope that you can survive with that extra 250 or that rest of the 250. But there's other things that she could have other services and products that she could have bought that would have protected her life and paid for the facility at the same time.
Right.
With that same money, you know what I mean? Like,
but
again, just like Jason said, it's just giving the information.
Right. And yeah, she 100%. She definitely could have did better, but just even that small play though, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
Even that small play, and a lot of people aren't even doing that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's education, bro. We lost sight of what our jobs are, man. We lost sight what our jobs are. So people are getting in these industries saying, "Oh, I can make quick money," without even learning the skills that it takes to survive in our industry, man. That's the issue right now.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I had another. I think I talked to you about this before, but I had another guy had a business. He was in a cooking business, and he's like, "Listen, I'm trying to find an investor, good dude." He's like, "I'm trying to find an investor. I want to, expand my business, do X, Y, Z. I'm looking for 50,000." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you, how much are you making?" And no, I was like, what's your menu look like? So he showed me a menu. It's like $1,000 for a tray of jerk chicken, feed 40 people, whatever. I'm like, okay, this looks like a good menu. I'm like, how many of these have you done? And he's like, yeah, I haven't done it. I got to get back in the kitchen. All right, so you asking for an investor, and you ain't cooking right now. So if I give you this bread, how am I gonna get my money back? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you profitable or not. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, yo, be profitable. Do the thing. If you're doing it, you obviously doing it because you love it. Hopefully you're not just chasing the bag. If you're doing it, go do what you enjoy doing, and the money's gonna come. 50,000, you got $1,000 tray of jerk chicken. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna sell a couple of those, you're not gonna need the 50,000 no more.
Right.
You're not gonna need it no more, man. So, people, the balance of using debt, leveraging debt the right way, or just racking up debt in a bad way, it's a thin line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most definitely. So let's give people some real game that they could use as well on top of it, right? Something that's very important to what people can, what everyone can relate to when we talk about getting paid. Right, then we're talking about budgeting our money. Let's break down the difference between net and gross. right? I think that's something very important that people lose or don't understand what their net pay is versus what their gross pay is. Do one of y'all want to break down what the difference may be as just a regular employee or even as an entrepreneur?
We're gonna let the lender get them on that one.
Yeah, so one is what you get paid before taxes, and the other one is what you get paid after taxes. I mean, as simple as that, right? So you have to I mean, that's what it is, right?
Right.
Yeah, but which one is
so-
which though? Let's be direct.
Okay,
So
what you-
what's net pay?
Okay, when you net, this is how much money the total net, right? The total net is the money you made, right? So say you make $100,000, right? That's your net. Your gross is what you get after taxes, right?
No.
So-
It's the other way.
I mean, everybody does it different. Like this is a financial. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the other way, right?
Yeah.
The gross is what you net, what you get total. The net is what you get after
Taxes.
taxes taken out, right? This is a question for a financial advisor because everybody's situation is different on your living situation, right? So we don't give financial advice here, right? So we'll tell you live below your means, right? You have to be able to find a way to structure your life to where you're living below your means, right? People don't live below their means because of, right? Their ego is stopping people from living below their means because they want to look to impress people, right?
Right.
It don't matter how much money you make. This is the problem we're having because we keep talking about you need to make 100,000, you need to make 500,000, you need to make this. No, you need to do what you can do with your 30, 40, 50,000, or go to somewhere or go to a place where you can make the money that you have work for you. We can't, because if you do a little with nothing, you get more, you're gonna still do the same with it, right?
Right.
So it don't matter what your gross or what your net is if your expenses exceed both, right? So this question is so vague, man, with most people because people want the secret, right? They want the magic bullet, right? There's no magic bullet because
I don't know. What's
even
that?
when you speak to a financial advisor, they're going to ask you questions about your life and what you're doing, what's your short term, what's your long term goals, what are you planning on doing, what's your dream scenario, right? And you gotta plan around it. And if you don't have the discipline to plan around it, then guess what? You're still not going to be able to get to the place you're going. On the flip side, I will say start interviewing more people via financial advisors, right? Start when you start talking about 401ks and stuff, speak to people. Stop signing up for these programs, putting your money into these funds without getting the proper information. Because some of the stuff people call me sometime and say they're about to do, I'm like, yo, that don't even make any sense. Because if you can put $100 in and make $50,000 in 2 months, bro, I mean, sign me up. But I'm pretty sure that's not possible, right? Unless you hit the lottery or you have a crazy parlay, you bet in a crazy parlay and you win. So I think the information that they're getting, or not even getting, I think it's the information, how they interpret it, right? You'll tell them one thing, you'll be like, listen, you go, you do this, you do that. Oh, Mike told me I should take this 401k and I should do this with it. And then once I get this money, I could take loans out. And it's like, no, right? So it's not just on us, but it's also the responsibility of the borrower, of the client, to get educated and figure out if what that person on the other end is saying is real. Because now we have social media. You can track all this, right? You can get accurate information if you do enough digging. And I think that's where the issue comes in, because there's not a lot of self accountability when it comes to that. It's always pointing the fingers. I don't make enough. I don't do this. I don't do that. But it's like, no, your problem is discipline and budgeting. That's where your issue lies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you learn how to be and stay disciplined and learn how to budget, man, you could go to the moon, man. If you know how to do a lot with a
Yeah.
little bit, when you get a lot, oh man, you just keep the same principles and everything you've been living by, you good. And get some new information that could take that to the next level. Now you where you need to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So
Yeah. correct.
Yo, real quick, let's take a quick break. Shout out to Alonzo in the chat. Super facts. Wait till me and Mike get together. Shout out to Lonzo. Lonzo, always on the grind. Shout out to Shalita, changing mindset. Who else in there? Anybody got any questions? Anything? Shout out to everybody. Thanks for all the comments. Any questions? Put it in the chat, and we'll try to get it answered.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Mike.
So this kind of brings us back. I think we were talking about it earlier. We know people just getting like that, using their credit score to come up with like a $500,000 or trying to get a business loan, whatever it may be. But what's the difference between like good debt and bad debt? like people, I don't feel like people understand, like, hey, I have good debt, right? Which may be investing, something I invested myself in. I had to get a loan for it to make me money, versus bad debt. And it's like, why do we feel like that conversation isn't had often? Or if you guys want to just break down some of the differences between what you feel like is good debt and what you feel like is bad debt.
I again, you listen to some of these guys, or some of these people on social media, like there's people out there that's saying, don't buy a house. A house is a liability, and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, I got over 150 clients sitting on $100,000+ in equity. Like, you know what I mean? So I said that to say it's all about the numbers. It's all about what you're doing with it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say a car is bad debt. You know what I mean? Like, is a car a bad investment? Yes, it depreciates, right? So that could be considered a bad debt. You get what I'm saying? That could be considered bad because you're not making no money off of it. Yeah. Versus, a house, you could be owner occupied. You're not making no money off of it right now, but you could be investing into your future. That's called equity. Like, you know what I mean? So it really depends on exactly what it is, what you're doing with it. You know what I mean? What's your numbers? What's your exit strategy? What's the game plan? And that's really, how you determine it. Like, there's guys that spend a lot of money on jewelry, but gold is probably, one of the best investments out there. Like, you know what I mean? But, when you look at this person like, oh, he just blew a bag. He just blew a bag. You know what I mean? And so it depends. It really depends on the investment, and you got to know your numbers at the end of the day.
Yeah. I feel like if we're talking about the car situation, obviously it's all based on someone's lifestyle and how they are, right? If you kind of already have some things set aside, you're already starting to focus on your retirement, you got some investments over there, you know what I'm saying? Then if you got a little bit of extra money to splurge and you want to kind of go into a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 loan for a car, cool. But at the same time, like if you, or on the other end of, not even at the same time, on the other end of it, if you ain't got nothing going on, you ain't got no investments, you just working and you just living paycheck to paycheck, and you bare minimum, but you want to go get a loan for $40,000, that's kind of like not a smart move to go down. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're just making it harder for your future to start to progress or put money aside for the retirement or make investments, whatever it may be. So, it's always based on someone's lifestyle. And you just got to know, like, is this the right time for me to be making this purchase for myself?
Mm.
Yeah.
Nah, sure.
Most people don't want to invest, man. Most people don't want to be homeowners. It's crazy how people, it sounds good sometimes when we talk about becoming a homeowner and investing and building financial wealth and generational wealth and building all these things and having all this money. But a lot of people just want to be comfortable, man. They don't want to invest. They want to make sure their paycheck comes in every week. They want to pay their bills. They want to go on a trip every once in a while. And they want to just be comfortable, right? Buy the necessities when they can do something here and there, drive a decent car. Most people don't want it. They don't want the education, man. They don't want to go through that journey because they don't trust the journey, right? Because they're not educated on the journey. Yeah. So I think that the first thing we should do is ask people, what do you want? That's a missing key. We don't ask the client and ask people, what do you want? What's making you happy? Because that $40,000 car, well, ain't 40,000 no more. Most of these guys, especially a lot of my clients, they're driving $50,000, $60,000 cars right now. $800, $900 car payments, but it makes them happy. They're comfortable with it. Hey, you can't afford the house because you have a $900 car payment and then a $500 a month insurance bill plus all these student loans, and they're more than fine with it, right? So I think we should start asking people first, what do you want to do and what makes you happy? And I think then we can get a better idea of who to speak to, right? And who to speak and educate, and then everybody else come if they want to, and then you don't have to speak to people who don't want the information. Because the first thing people say when you give information, oh, I don't want to hear all that blah blah blah. I don't want to hear all that blah blah blah. Because it sounds, bro, if you come to somebody, you be like, yo, if you put a certain amount of money away, or hey, guess what? If you buy this house right now, this ugly home, you and your sister buy this home right now, you invest in this house, you fix it up. In 5 years, it'll be worth $350,000 more, and you can cash out and have almost $500,000 in the bank. They're gonna be like, bro, no, ain't nobody doing that. Nobody got time for that. That's not true. So I think it's back to the basics of educating people and figuring out what people want and showing them. Like we can show people like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you get qualified for this. And then tell them it's a journey, right? It's not a get quick rich scheme. It's a journey, right? We send them to financial advisors, right? We send them to the loan officers and realtors, and we send them to the right places to get the proper education, and then we walk them through the process. It's not a microwave, bro. You got to bake a little bit, bro. You got to go to 380, bro. You got to bake and learn, because if you do it the right way, you'll buy right. And the problem is most people are not making the right purchase. They're making the wrong purchase, and then they're paying for it years down the line. And that's buying that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car. You get laid off. It's upside down after the first 6 months, and now you're stuck,
Yeah.
Hey.
So here's real quick. I'm gonna let you go. Mine's gonna be fast. Just something I think about, right? Where we as entrepreneurs, you're told, to follow somebody, right? Or follow someone else's journey that was successful. But at the same time, if you look at it on the opposite end, where look at someone that's not successful, someone that's a little bit older, they already been through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, now they in their 70s, and they're starting to struggle a little bit, where they got to keep working. They didn't put that money aside, and you got to look at someone to be like, man, I can't live like that. I can't see myself. This isn't being rude to anyone, but I can't see myself working at Walmart, at 70 years old, 80 years old, not because I don't want to, or I'm doing it just because I want to spend my time, but because I have to. That's a whole different story when you have to versus you just want to occupy your time because now you're in retirement and you just want to, be active. So that's just my little piece of game right there. Gerard, you switched my camera too late.
So I'm gonna add to that what you said about the working at Walmart. Most people that are 60 and up that work at Walmart, they're working there because they retired on the the 40-40-40 plan, 40 hours a week for 40 years, and then they retire on 40% of whatever they made throughout that time, and they really can't live. They can't live like that. So they got to pick up, they got to make the ends meet. They got to pick up the extra slack. Then I'm gonna go back to the other thing that y'all spoke about, far as the living paycheck to paycheck. And I lived paycheck to paycheck, years ago or whatever. And that's why I've been telling people for over 10 years that you need an extra stream of income, because I went through it, I seen it, I felt it. So in the last 10 years, I sold all kind of stuff. I had DVDs, t-shirts, I got my book now. Now I'm selling houses, all kind of stuff. So as far as the entrepreneur thing, that's just been in me before I even got on social media. But as far as the question was, what's the difference between good debt and bad debt?
Yeah.
Right. So I would say the bad debt is anything that you spend money on or that you get a loan for that's not giving you any income, that's not bringing in any income to your household or to your bank account. The good debt would be the opposite. Something that you spent money on, got a loan on, but it's bringing money in. Like you spending money on it every month, but it's also bringing some income in as well. And I think Jason said that the people feel good about spending $900 on those car payments, and the car payments like 50 to 60,000. They feel good because when they show up, everybody like, yo, who car is that? They're like, yo,
Yep.
D, like, yo, that's a new one. That's the one with the red interior, like with the the V8, the V12, whatever they got, and they that just they get excited about how other people view them, and a lot of times that's their downfall. Now,
Yeah.
you see, you might be outside, you might be at an event, you might see mad new cars. My car is not going to be the newest one there. My car might be the oldest one there, but I don't care about how people view me. I don't care what they think about me because they don't pay my mortgages. They don't help me take care of my kids. So when you really, and that's a lot of people downfall because they care about how other people view them. When you stop caring about how the world view you, listen, I love my mother and father and my wife, and I don't care how they view me. I don't care what they think about me. None of those different things like that. Because as long as I feel how I feel about myself, and scratch that. If I don't care about how they feel about me, why do you think I care about what a stranger or anybody else outside think about me? That's people down for worrying about that. Once you really forget the financial freedom, once you really stop caring about how everybody view you or think about you, that's when you will begin to be free.
Yep.
That point, and then whatever money you make after that, it is what it is because you graduated, you leveled up. Once you don't care about how they view you, and that's what's stopping people because like they want to look like they're this, they want to look like they're that. You know what I mean? I do different things in my life, but I definitely don't care. You know what I mean? I like looking bummy and having things going on the back end.
Exactly.
That's my goal too. That's one of my goals, financial goals, to be rich or wealthy, and then hop out a new car with some dirty shoes on, a mustard or ketchup stain on my shirt or something like that. Yeah, that's goals. I'm being honest.
Yeah. Most definitely. So even our conversation, man, where we think again, what I said about, people that were that lived a life right now kind of having to work at Walmart, not because they want to, but because they have to. That comes from the lack of financial literacy, right? Obviously, what we're talking about. And then one of the main things in that reason is inflation. People don't talk about inflation. People don't understand inflation. We're not understanding that, hey, if I could buy a bag of chips back in the day for 25 cents, now all of a sudden it's $1. That's inflation. The prices are rising. That means everything you buy now is going to cost more in the long term. It's going to happen. You cannot stop inflation. It's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
That's just the way of life.
But you know what? Another thing it is too is that I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want
Oh
nobody-
man. Oh boy. Don't get me started on that one.
Do I got to show? Do I got to like, bro? Listen to this. I'll get some bank statements sometime from clients. The whole bank statement is blacked out. I'm like, bro, we can't use the bank statement where you black out your damn
We
name.
can't work like this.
We don't know who bank statement this is.
Hey,
It's the craziest thing in the world, man.
Hey, Mike, you put me on with something as well. You talking about inflation. Nobody ever accounts for raises.
Yes.
Nobody ever accounts for raises. And I'm not saying you should, over anticipate getting a raise, but you asked a good question. It's like, do you plan on making the same amount of money 10 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everybody's first reaction is, nah, hopefully not. You know what I mean? Hopefully I get a raise. Hopefully I build my business or, whatever industry you in. Nobody ever accounts for raises. We account for debt more than we account for making more money,
Correct.
which is crazy to me.
Correct.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You got to break that down for me a little bit. We account for debt more than we account for the increase in our income. What do you mean?
Right. So we like for example, if I'm making a big purchase and I'm buying a house, right? The average person, we're gonna look at this how we talk about buying right. We talk about affordability. We talk about making sure we can afford it. And the average person will look at this house because it's a big debt. Because it's a big debt, it's a big responsibility. We'll look at this house and say, well, I want to be here, and what if I lose my job? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like you'll nail that down. Like, we gonna go hard on what if I lose my job? Well, what if you don't? What if you get a raise? What if you become a boss? What if you become an owner? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it seems like psychologically we don't focus on that. But psychologically we focus on the fear of what if I lose my job? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I meant by that. Like, what if we so we secure the bag? What if I get a part-time job? What if I'm not telling you to be house poor? You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying psychologically, it seems like we always go to the worst part, to the downfall. But when I met with you and Mike, it was like, yo, do you plan on making this money for the rest of your life? Kind of open my eyes up to like, nah, my goal is to make more money. You get what I'm saying? All right, so if my goal is to make more money, what does that look like? How am I going to make more money, number one? Number two, if I do make the money, where does it go? What am I going to do with it? You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the average person don't think like that. It's always the downfall. It's always the worst case. It's always the scarcity is what I'm trying to say.
That Lack City, man.
Lack
Yeah,
City.
I think it's like that. It's like that because we're so used to things not working out. We're so used to people failing us. We're so used to our people and family not doing more. And sometimes that stuff is passed down from your mother, father, grandmother, all these different people passing it to you. Or what if this don't work? Like, listen. And that's why I love when people say stuff like that, because I feel the opposite. I don't feel like that. I feel like I know it's going to work. I don't care when it's going to work. And that's just my mindset. I don't care how long it take. And people just like, I think Jason said, it's like, it's not a microwave, but this is a microwave society, and everybody want it now. They want the 50, 60, $100,000 car now. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do certain things to make sure that they are in a better place later. Like, you know what I mean? So when we get a raise, somebody says something about a raise. When we get a raise, that's when we go get the newer car, or we go buy the stuff that, people are wearing on social media, when you're not even in a position to do something like that because you ain't even pay your mortgage. You want to go be in Dubai, you want to be in these different places, but you got to make sure your priorities is in place first. I'm not going on no vacation and I got to come back and figure out how I'm gonna pay my my rent or my mortgage or my car note. None of that.
I just ain't going.
If I can't pay my mortgages, and the car note and whatever else, listen, I'm not going on a vacation, because the all that stuff costs way more than the vacation. I can't go.
What you mean, King? What you mean, YOLO? You know what I'm saying?
Listen, that's cool when you're young and dumb. Cool. You want to say YOLO? Cool. Like, go ahead. But that's when you don't got mortgages, when you don't got multiple kids, when you don't got multiple cars, and multiple people depending on you. You can say YOLO. You know what I mean? So salute to all y'all who don't got all those things I said, and y'all can do whatever y'all want. God bless y'all. Wish y'all nothing but the best. But my life is not set up like that. I can't just go do whatever I want to do. I got to make sure things is in order so I can be able to move around how I want. I can't do it, and I won't. I don't care what y'all think about me, how y'all look at me, because it don't matter to me.
Yo,
it's the fear to live below your means, bro. That's all it is, man. People are scared. People are scared to pop up when everybody's driving those fancy, expensive cars, to pop up in a Honda and be like, I don't care, because I can afford those cars, but I have too much discipline to buy it right now.
Right.
And if you want it and you love it, you don't judge people's lives. Do what makes you happy.
Right.
And I think that's where we lose some time. But if you're trying to get ahead, you can't. It's about you. It's about you and your family. If you're married, about you, your spouse, and your kids, right? Because eventually your kid's gonna leave. So your kids don't really care, right? As soon as they get there, you buy them the Benz, they're gonna be with their family in the new Benz. And if you're gonna be, stuck with that paying their car note or whatever. it's the fear. It's the fear to live below your means to get to where you want to be, man. Because sometimes it's like, yo, everybody's partying, man. I don't want to party, you know, especially
Yeah,
here in
man.
Miami. You know how much
Let's
it costs to
go.
go. You know how much it costs to go get a bar, a table at Live or some of
What's
these
like
other
5,000,
places. But
Yeah, I don't want to party that bad.
yeah, bro. But people are doing it because they're like, yo, I'm young, and now
Never. Never.
Yo, I don't want to party that bad,
I'm
bro.
like, yo, I'm like, damn, am I when I was when I was in my 20s, man, you know, I should have aligned with different people. So now I could party like I do now in my 40s and whatever, you know, so forth and so on. But we don't learn that in our 20s. You're like, yo, you gotta live when you young, you gotta party. But guess what? It's like, nah, bro, this new generation, as much crap people talk about them, they get it. A lot of them getting it right now. Like
Oh no, they
they're
own it.
understanding. They're
They own it. They got
understanding.
it.
Yeah, they're understanding. I'm gonna sit in front of this computer. I'm gonna play games. I'm gonna get on social media. I'm gonna make money from this. And then when we party, it's gonna be a networking event with just people within our
Right.
circle that we're networking with. Right? We ain't gonna party with these crazy people no more. And they
Right.
keep their circle tight. And we, you know, older generation didn't learn that. We were like, nah, you gotta party. You gotta wear the Gucci. You gotta wear all this stuff. And it's like. That's why I love Ocho Cinco, bro. That dude was like,
Oh,
man,
nah,
I
he
had
the
it. Why would I
GOAT,
gotta
man.
show I got it?
I don't want to
wear
hear
fake
that. I don't
diamonds.
believe
wear
him
fake-
one bit.
I
I
wear-
don't believe him.
I wear or whatever, and you sitting there like nobody really cares, bro. It looks good, right? So long as those
Dude,
diamonds are shining, people really
Yeah.
gonna look like, yo, is that
Hey.
real?
Yeah.
Is
They gonna
that
think it's
is
real
that
'cause it's
real?
you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe him one bit, yo. He was capping. I don't believe
But
him
when you
one bit.
got it, when you got it and you live in that way where you're like, I don't care what people think, I have a goal. I mean,
Right.
when you get out of that realm of people judging you and you just don't care, bro, it's a freedom that you is unmatched, man. Because you
Right.
have a goal. You like, yo, this is my path and this is the path I'm on. If we were to teach that, because we don't teach it as we're young, we're not teaching as we're young. We're like, yo, this is a 2-year-old baby. We got to throw a $5,000 party for a 2-year-old baby, and we got to impress everybody. We got to buy alcohol. We got to buy this. We got to buy that. And it's like, yo, this dumb baby ain't gonna remember none of this stuff in the next 2
Right.
hours once the party's over. Let alone they're gonna remember it when they get old. You know what I mean? So it's
Man,
stuff.
cake and ice
It's
cream,
stuff
man.
like that. Just think about graduations now. Think about the
Man, listen.
graduations now.
I ain't doing none of that. Give a fuck what's going on.
It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with doing it if that's what you want to do. But when
Yo.
we talk about financial literacy and how we're building now, I don't know if it's setting the right standard for our culture, bro, for our people.
They gonna be poor, man. You living like that, think you can do what you want. You pulling up to your graduate, you pulling up to your prom in a helicopter. You pulling up on a camo. You got a goat next to you. All this stuff. Listen, man. Listen, man. I can't wait. By the time my kids graduate and go back to prom, it's gonna be reversed. It's gonna be the old school, man, where you driving your own car to prom, like I did. It's gonna be like that those times. I can't wait. We're gonna get all the helicopters, all that stuff out the way, pulling up this way. You know what I mean? The I8s, the doors lift up. We're gonna get all this Rolls Royces out the way.
All right, bro.
I can't wait till that to be done.
Bro, I'm gonna keep an eye on you when baby girl graduate high school, bro.
Listen.
I'm coming
Listen,
to that prom
We
send
gonna
off.
play this. Matter of fact, I'm still gonna have this clip. I'm gonna put this on the external hard drive.
I want to go
I
to
mean?
that send off. Hey, yo, shout
Like
out
15
to
years.
shout out to Johanna Lynn Davis on the check-in. She said people care too much about what everyone thinks. She's talking about the scarcity mindset. She said, I get a 2% increase annually. It's accumulated over 10K. Oh, and it's accumulated over 10K a decade. Nice.
Wow, nice.
That's good. See, something like that you can actually plan for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's nice to know.
Yeah, I'm looking
That-
for something like that. They hiring over there?
Yo, for real.
Over there. Hit me in the DM.
Yo, for real.
That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube right now. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the energy. Keep commenting. We'll get them on the screen. We'll answer your questions. Alonzo had a question real quick. So he was asking me, as a self-employed, 100% commission person who's done it for years, what suggestions do you have for a newer person trying to budget commission checks? Well, I think everything that we're talking about goes into play there, right? If in real estate you're going to need different investments, you know what I mean? Number one, first of all, you got a silent business partner, and that's Uncle Sam, right? So you got to make sure you take care of him. And then Mike talking about him. Yeah, we got to give Mike a couple dollars for lap dances on the weekends, but he's
Yeah, I don't know, man. Y'all been acting crazy lately, man. I don't know what's going on.
Hey man, look, I'm making this real professional
I'm
right
messing
now.
with him. I'm messing with him.
Jesus, fix it, Jesus.
Look, I'll come up out of it now.
Please keep your shirt on, bro.
Nah, but yeah, you got to make sure other investments is the main thing. Make sure you put that money aside for Uncle Sam. And one of my things is, and I think we kind of touched on this too. Like when the cash is coming in, it's coming in. But I need you to understand that as an entrepreneur, there's a chance it could go away at the drop of a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like real estate. For most real estate agents, real estate is seasonal, man. So, you'll go hard all summer and then, the birds fly south for the winter. Like, you know what I mean? So it could slow up on you. So make sure you're saving. Make sure you're saving as much as you can. And try to be as consistent as possible, working your business so that your paychecks stay consistent. Me personally, I try to buy everything cash. I don't like no payments on nothing. All I got is my house payment and, my regular bills, but I buy everything cash. I don't want no payments, man. So that's my tips for self-employed entrepreneurs. And everybody's situation different, but that's mine.
Exactly. I was going to go down that route, as far as even so looking at my situation where I still work a full-time job and I'm working on commission base. It's like sometimes like you gotta know whether or not you could go all in and be financially okay for the most part, right? You don't have to have like a crap ton of money, but like, hey, should you still be working a full-time job or at least a part-time job while you're going into your new commission job, especially with one that's not giving you salary? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's all based on you, and especially like you said, with if you're going into real estate where it's seasonal, you got to know whether or not you got some other income coming in. And on the other side, like you said, whether or not you're gonna start that job with an emergency fund. Right. Making sure that bread is set aside. How much are your living expenses? How much do you need every single month to cover the basic bills? We're not talking about having fun. We're not talking about going out, doing whatever you do on a regular basis. Having money set aside for them bills, that grocery, and your family. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, right? What's the bare minimum that you need every single month? And how long do you want to give yourself that gap, right? Because if you're able to plan to go into this job and whatever, let's just say your monthly bills is $3,000. So if you want to give yourself 4 months, you need to have $12,000 set aside into that account. Being prepared to just focus strictly on real estate or whatever it is that your job is, or your business is, and that $12,000 should go directly to your living, to your living, nothing more, nothing less.
Yo, King, Johanna said they are hiring, yo.
Listen, man, I ain't do a resume in like 9 years, so I did all kind of stuff. So I have somebody put something together. You know what I mean? Put something together for that. Yeah. I need everything. Yeah. But I'm gonna say, before you even jump into doing entrepreneurship full time or 100% or whatever, you have to do what Mike said, put that money aside, or even if you're not putting money aside, but have money somewhere to cover all the basic needs of life. So no matter if you didn't make no money or not, you still could do everything that you need to do to make sure the whole family is good. That's bills, that's food, that's everything basically. And me personally, right now, I'm doing real estate full time. And I've been doing it full time since the end of April. So majority of all my stuff is good, it's paid for, because like Gerard said, when he said he spoke about him being a real estate agent, and he said he invests in, like, you guys have those investments making money for you or put you in a position to where you don't have to spend that much money on bills. So before I even became a real estate agent, I was lining myself up to be in this position to um, do real estate full time if I lost my job or I quit my job or not. Now, if I was working still, I probably would have more money in the bank, but I won't have the time freedom to be in a position to have the opportunities to make more money
Say
on the
that.
front end. So, and right now, like, I know that the season is going to change, and I got other stuff that's going on when the season change. So I'll be able to go over here and be doing whatever I got to do to. So when it get warm again, I'm ready. And everybody know from all the stuff I'm doing this summer, they're gonna know when it get nice out again. They're gonna be like, "Yo, listen, man, yeah, you still doing this?" And then it's gonna be up. And then I know when it get cool again, where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do. So you always gotta be like 10 to 20 steps ahead, man. If you lose the job, if you ain't making no money, you need to be able to go somewhere and get some money, because when you can't get the money and you can't pay those bills, if you feel crazy, especially when you are a married man, you got kids, you got different things going on, it's not a good feeling to feel like you can't get things done.
Yeah, the tough part about entrepreneurship, period, and not just about real estate. I mean, I think we all could probably relate. Is you eat what you hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You eat
what you kill.
Right. Exactly. I didn't want to say that because of social media. Unalive. You know,
Listen,
you eat
man,
what you
eat what you kill.
you eat what you unalive.
I mean,
you know?
So real quick, I gotta make fun of Jason, right? Just because I know how he like to talk. I know Jason's mindset. You know, Jason that want to be like, man, fuck that. You gotta go get it. You ain't no emergency fund. Nah, you gotta go get that. You don't need no money to the side. Jason said you gotta go get that. You don't need no money. You don't need nothing. You just need to go sell. You need to go talk to people. That's all you need to go do.
Yeah.
The people got the money.
Sorry, my brother. I love you.
You know, one of the biggest things that I think that the best advice, and I will say I think this is some of the best advice for entrepreneurs. When you start making money the first 4 years, don't change your lifestyle, bro. Like, like reinvest in your business. Like, seriously, reinvest in your business. People start making money, and then they start increasing their lifestyle right away. So guess what? Like you said, if you don't have an established business, a scalable business, you haven't built it yet, and you're still in the works, man, you might go a dry 4 or 5 months, depending on what you're doing, man. You don't got no money in. So now that lifestyle that you just increased to has made it harder, because if you were to stay the same, you would be good for 6, 7 months. You will keep that money in the bank. You didn't need a big down payment for that house. You didn't need a big down payment for that car. I think making sure you stay small long enough so you can stay big long enough, if that makes any sense. I think people move too quick and they don't reinvest in their business. And the second thing is, man, when you get large amounts of money, start investing that money. Listen, bro, I might be a little biased, but bro, there's so many opportunities in real estate right now, from fix and flips, from commercial properties, from mobile homes, from RV parks, from just buying land and building for tractor trailers. There's opportunities, man. Invest in something like that so you can get residuals coming in. Then once you get residuals coming in, man, you can let your business will always run because you always have that money. Then you can relax a little bit. I think the issue with most entrepreneurs, that as soon as they make money, they want to flex on social media, right? Don't leave the education, bro, to show your Ferrari, bro, because that Ferrari is going to get you views. It ain't going to make you money, in a sense, right? People keep saying, "Oh, the car, yeah, I drove up to the car." Man, nobody give a damn about that Ferrari, bro. The only people who really impressed about that Ferrari are people who don't have a Ferrari. So when you go into that Ferrari, everybody else have a Ferrari. Nobody really gives a damn about that Ferrari, right? So if you keep reinvesting, educating, and doubling down on it, I think it'll be better, man. I actually, this is funny because I'm applying that to my business now, and I'm learning so much by just slowing down, bro. Like, slow down. You don't need to do all this crazy stuff, right? You don't need to, like, just slow down. Reinvest in your business. Pick the right business partners. Don't spend too much money. Do a strategic marketing. Do this, do that. And then after about 2 or 3 years, man, you'll see that money come, and then you don't got to struggle as much as an entrepreneur, because most entrepreneurs struggle because as soon as the money comes in, it goes right back out. And I'm not talking the bills; it goes back out to lifestyle. And I think that's where the dagger comes in that kills most entrepreneurs.
Nah, for sure, man. You said invest in yourself. So
100%.
as we're talking about budgeting, as we're talking about what they didn't teach us in school, and this, that, and the third, what does invest in yourself mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people do enough of that, and I don't know if people understand how to. Like, so if I hear another real estate agent say, "Yo, coaching is expensive," and I ain't gonna lie, some of it is, but
Yes.
you gotta invest in yourself. I gotta tell you, I didn't really start making good money until I started investing in coaching. Like, you know what I mean? And
100%.
also I sacrificed a lot of fun time, a lot of parties, a lot of cookouts. I bet you there's probably a shitload of people on this live that said they probably invited me and I didn't show up. But I be locked the fuck in, like, for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm dead serious. Like, I be on YouTube or I be somewhere, you know, learning, reading, trying to figure out my next move. Like that became my passion. You know what I mean? And sometimes I regret those moments though as well. I regret those moments a little bit, that dag, I ain't go to that family cookout, or dag, I ain't go to that party, or, you know, that picture on Instagram with your boys popping bottles. Like, dag, I missed that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, and, you know, in hindsight, I had to do what I had to do, and that put me here, you know, to this point now. You get what I'm saying? So I understand it as a little regret, little maybe survivor's remorse is what they call it, right? But I think I had to do that. I had to invest in myself in order to get to where I am. I said all that to say, me and Mike gonna go to strip club this weekend, man. We outside with
Listen, man.
What?
Pop bottles by yourself, man. You don't need to pop no bottles with them, man.
Nah, word.
I mean, listen, everybody at the parties and the cookout, they don't want what you want. They're not after what you after. You know, they're not gonna understand. They rather party, because a lot of times they celebrating failure. Nobody didn't accomplish nothing at these events. You know what I mean?
Yo,
They just going because it's a good time. It's summer.
Right. But I'll tell you this though, the conversation I had with Mike and Mike really set me up on a different path. Like, I can't hold you. Like, I'm really, even after being in this game for 10 years, 40-something years old, like, I learned so much from 2 1-hour conversations, you know, about budgeting and all of that. Mike, you tell him, man. Like Mike, how do you automate savings? Like, you the financial guy. Dive in.
Man, so when you look at it from a standpoint of, I don't want to go deep on the example. I want to give the facts or the strategy. But when you look at like how the 401k was created, right? It was back when, like early, like, or like mid 19th. Oh, shoot, I got me saying 1900s.
That's because you old, dog. It's all right.
That joint is in my head now. 1900s. It sounds so bad. But for the 401k itself, right? It was initially where you had to take money to fund your retirement account, like by hand, where you had to go and mail a check in, or you had to go and you had to hand your money to someone, right? So it kind of made it hard for the government to get that money from you, right? Because obviously they need their money as well. That's what kind of retirement products do. They get the taxes out of it, all that good stuff. But what they ended up doing was automating your retirement plan from your job. Now they ain't got to ask you for their money. They ain't got to wait for you to get their money. They automatically get their money before you even get your money. Right. So now if we take that same concept and we put it into ourselves, like, hey, once I get paid, I need to put this money here, right? And I need to automate where my bills go. I need to make sure that my bills, that money for that bills goes directly into one account. And then I need to make sure the money I'm gonna spend for my lifestyle, the things, money I'm gonna need to enjoy goes into this other account. What that now does is it separates, and you know exactly how much money you're going to save, because if you know, hey, I need $500 a month for my bills in this one account, I need another $500 a month and for my fun, my leisure money to do it, to do whatever it is that I want to do. From that, if you got another $500 left in that account, now you no longer need to worry about touching it. That's how you automate savings without having to think about it. You separate your money from where you spend it. You don't save and spend out of the same account. I think that's where most of us go wrong sometimes. We spend money where we're trying to save money at the same exact time, and it doesn't work out. Then you start to transfer money. Oh, well, hey, I got this big expense. Now I got to go transfer money from this account real quick. Let me go ahead and transfer it over to my checking, into my debit card. Then I go swipe it. Oh, I got a trip coming up. Let me go to my savings. Let me go transfer that money out, instead of putting it somewhere you don't have access to.
I wish
Basic term.
I wish I had one of DJ Clue bombs right now, man. Let that boy cook. Let that boy cook.
Yeah, we need that. We need a soundboard. That just would be dope. Pew 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 pew. Gerard, you got silent.
Oh, my bad. I said I got some, but they corny. We'll work on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Most definitely. But yeah, man, good question. So Gerard, man, I know, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not even gonna ask that question. Fellas, y'all got anything else? Any other questions right now? Anything specific y'all want to discuss?
Nah,
Yeah, I think
yeah, go ahead.
when we start talking about things that are we didn't learn in school, and I think is really us as family and close friends, man, just really starting to speak more about financial literacy at a cookout, right? At the family reunion, when we do gatherings, when we do birthday parties, right? We got to start being conscious of what we're spending money on, right? Because the investing we do in South Carolina, right? About time somebody do a cookout and do a party, we could be making $600 a month right now on investing in certain opportunity, right? Well, we got to start talking about that, right? And we got to start being selfish with our time. We can't just give our time to people, right? We can't just give our time to our family and our friends just because, like, oh man, life is short. We got to give our time because, nah, man, you got to surround yourself with the people who want your information so you can go get it. So guess what? Everybody's on that same path and everybody's partying on your land, and nobody got to go rent out a hall or something. We own the hall. We own the park. We own the land. We own all of this. And I think we don't do that. And we don't know how much money that we're spending as a unit because we don't pay attention to it as a unit. We don't pay attention to Christmas and Thanksgiving and 4th of July and birthday parties and weddings and all this stuff. We don't pay attention to the money that we got going. And the first thing people say is, I'm broke. Bro, you just spent literally $3,500 last year on cigarettes and lotto tickets.
Bro, hold on real quick. On that note.
More than that.
Do you know, for a year, spending $11 a day is $4,000 a year? Like you gave it, but just to break it down even more simple, like we don't even realize $11 a day. That's just, I gotta go buy something for the kids. I gotta buy me a snack. I want to buy me some Starbucks real quick. $11 a day is $4,000. That shit just blows my mind. I'm sorry, continue.
But no, it's just being intentional about paying attention to the things we're doing, right? It's not hard, bro. It's just being intentional about it, right? It's consistency, it's discipline, it's getting educated. Like Gerard was saying earlier, man, like we have to start, there's no excuse to not know something anymore, right? We have the internet, right? There's no excuse to be like, man, I didn't know. So I took that 500,000 and I went to the strip club. I just didn't know what to do with it anymore. The mortgages was too high. It's no excuse anymore. And we got to start holding each other accountable. If I see my brother or my cousin, because the last time, what people do most of the time, and we're probably all guilty of it too, we'd be like, you know what? That's their life. Let them live their life, right? We're one of the only communities that do that, right? We don't hold each other accountable for certain things like that. Because one, if you hold somebody accountable, they might shoot you because, people be like, yo, you don't tell me what to do. It might become a big issue right now when you correct other people, right? Because ego gets involved in that, right? Like it's crazy. Like you laugh because it's true, right? So now you're walking in a situation to where you're walking on eggshells around people, man, because it's just like, I don't want to say nothing to no. You don't even want to be at some of the functions because everybody there flossing. You're like, yo, every single person here just asked me for money last week. But they're here doing this when we could be putting money together, doing certain things. And I think sometimes we sit around as a community, and I mean, we don't do it. We hold each other accountable. We talk, we have our long talks amongst us, but we sit down, and instead of saying, you know, hey, all these people owe me money or this or that, like somebody got to take the lead and be like, yo, this is what I'm planning on doing. Who wants to come with me? Everybody's not going to agree with you. Like everybody's not going to want to invest. Everybody's not going to want to do it, but everybody has at least one or two people in their family who will want to invest and do certain things, right? Guess what? Who cares, bro? Like you blew money on a $700 dinner at STK or one of these steakhouses and didn't even bat an eye because you got the social media pictures and you got all these things. But somebody say, yo, let's all put $1,000 together to do something. Everybody's like, nah, that's not, that's a little too much. That's a little too expensive to be put in $1,000. You know what I mean? But I think it's just priorities. And then when you have your priorities, getting around like-minded people, because you can find your tribe, man. I say this all the time. You can find your tribe. Your tribe is out there. You just got to look for the people who are on the same frequency that you're on. And then you just leave everybody else behind, bro. And then you build. And then when people want to come, you invite them in. And if, you know, you have your barriers in which they can cross until you know they're ready. And if they're not ready, then you just keep moving on. But we have to start progressing as individuals first. And then once we progress as individuals, self-accountability growing, then we're able to to help other people. I just think we don't become I'm sorry guys, I got a freaking cold. We're not able to progress as individuals enough so people will want to follow us. And I think a lot of times that's where the problem is. They don't see us as we see ourselves sometimes. They don't see us as the go-to person. People ask me, how do you get leads? I talk to people, I know my business, and people come to me because they trust me. You don't get leads and people don't come to you and call you because they still see you as the little kid that they grew up with, because your social currency is non-existent, right? You don't talk to them in a way that they can trust you as far as financials or buying a home or helping them sell their house or whatever industry it is. So I think we got to individually grow first, and then after that, other people will follow.
Yeah.
I want to say something to that. Even how do I get leads? Like, no matter what industry you in, you should have been working on getting leads before you even jumped in. You should have been talking to people. You should have been educating yourself. You should have been figuring out where the mixers are and learning who's who and what's what before you even jump in. Like, I never heard that before. Where do you get leads? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, even on social media, and you go places, people can be like, yo, ain't you that dude that was talking about this, that, and the third online? Like you always got to be doing something different. And how you separate yourself from anybody else in your industry is just doing what everybody not doing. So that's going to different places, that's connected with different people, that's going to mixers, that's supporting another business partner that's even in the same industry as you, but you know, it's their time to shine. This their event. Go support them. Show that you're always working. Show that you're always doing something. Show that you're you're in the community. And you want it's not really about, I always tell people, it's not really about the money. It's about helping people change their life. If you help people change their life, your life is going to be changed by default. Before I even had a house, before I even had the credit score to get a house, I helped mad people change their life. I helped them buy houses before I even bought a house. So I always knew if I helped these people fix their credit or help them buy a house, I knew I was going to get a house eventually. So you got to think about how you can solve other people's problems, and that's through learning all the information. That's through connecting with these people as well. Because if you're not learning new information, if you're not making the connections, if you're not showing the people that you're here willing to help them, then you're never going to have any leads. It's that simple.
One of the biggest things I learned, and I try to teach and instill in my agents, is when you go to the doctor's office, before you leave, they make you make another appointment. That's their marketing. You get what I'm saying? I want to see you again in 6 months. That like
Yep.
you ever seen your doctor run a commercial? It ain't that many of them. You know what I'm saying? He makes sure his calendar full before you even leave. So you gotta do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like find investors to deal with. You know what I mean? Turn one transaction into two, and we eat what we kill. You know what I mean? So, but yes, helping people. The more people you help, it creates a snowball effect. You know what I'm saying? I remember starting out, trying to figure it out. Now, I do a lot of stuff that I don't even have to do because the phone just rings. You get what I'm saying? But as a avid hunter, you can't just wait for the phone to ring. You gotta go hunt, man. Shout out to my man Darrell Hardy. Darrell said, "My brother's keeper. In our community, we have to become the example to our people to follow our example. For our people to follow our example."
100%.
Even the people who will follow. Even the people who will follow are the minority, are in the minority as well. Yeah, for sure. Yo, what I was thinking when you was talking about that, Jason, is, and it's probably my last question. I know we gotta get up out of here, but what I was thinking when you was talking, about accountability, and you're 100% right. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes, do you want the smoke of holding somebody accountable? Do you want the smoke that comes with holding somebody accountable? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's smoke, bro.
It's smoke. It's smoke for sure. Well,
somebody asked me to hold them accountable. I hold them accountable. They curse me out. I'm like, why you want me to hold you accountable for?
Yo, for real.
So even on the go ahead, Jason. I know you had more.
No, I was just saying, like, sometimes, but we need to be held accountable sometimes. Even the best people in the world are held accountable by their coaches, right? Our coaches have coaches, man. It's expensive to get better, man, but nobody's perfect. And I think we don't see the process. We only see the results, if they're good or bad, but nobody understands the process, right? And the process is the nights and the time that we're not going live, right? We're having our meetings, we're talking about topics. When we're sitting here doing pre-approvals, when we're trying to figure out CRAs or CMAs for properties, and all these different things, man, that goes on behind the scenes. Nobody sees that, man, right? But sometimes it's not just you just waking up one day and saying, "Oh, I'm motivated every day." Nobody's motivated every day, but that's why you have a coach. That's why you hold yourself accountable. That's why you try to have consistency, and you just go do it. People are scared to challenge themselves, man. People are scared to get information, right? To do better, because they're scared of what other people are going to say. People are scared to leave their community of a better life because they're scared what their family and people are going to say, because they're scared of judgment, man. We got to get past that and start being more selfish. Right, seriously, we got to start being more selfish, man. Be like, you know what? I can't help my community. I can't help my family. I can't help anybody if I'm not helping myself, right? Everybody's so good. Oh my God, the family, everybody's together and nobody wanted to leave and these people left and they're nowhere to be found. They're not, yeah, guess what? They're better in their life and everybody else still doing the same shit for the last 25, 30 years. Nobody has grown. Everybody's still on that 12th grade education. Nobody has grown. And sometimes you got to get away from that, because if you stay in that area, you'll stay small, man. And it's just people don't understand that. But another thing is it's exposure. Most people don't leave within several miles of where they grow up, right? Or live. So they don't get exposed to the rest of the world, right? They go on vacation here and there, right? They'll go to Bahamas, they go to DR, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, whatever. They'll go somewhere, but they're not really being exposed to other cultures and other cities and other life around the world, or even in our country, right? People have never been to the West Coast or the Midwest, right? They only been south or maybe a couple of states over. Once you get that exposure, you'll start to see things differently. And I think sometimes people are scared of that. They're scared to see things differently because now it's going to make them question everything they've been taught and the people they grew up around.
Yeah,
and it just changes, man.
It's a challenge, and you stuck in your ways.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah, people get stuck in their ways.
Yeah. So I'm that person I'm that person in the family that be like, yo, stop doing this, man. Do this, do that, you know? And they don't like it. You know what I mean? They don't like when I be saying, yo, listen, man, stop going on all these trips and really focus on saving your money, putting your money up. Like so, and I also be like, think about all the trips you went on. What if you added all those payments up? You would have been had a couple down payments for your house. Like, you know what I mean? I say stuff like that. And they be treating me like I'm a know-it-all or something like that. And like I'm somebody that don't know what I'm talking about. If I know what I'm talking about, if I'm doing it and I'm showing you how I've been I'm showing you like when I was grinding, I'm showing you when I didn't have it, I'm showing you these different things, and you ain't do a quarter of none of the stuff I did, and you think you know more than me, that's when I gotta be quiet because they a little off. They gotta be. That don't even make sense. Why you even going? It's nothing to go back and forth about. I'm not saying my way is the way, but I'm just showing you and telling you what I did to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
It really be that simple. But you know, people don't like somebody saying, yo, listen, nah, chill on that. Don't do this, don't do that. Cause you know, they grown, right? They make their own money, they pay their own bills, you know, and they don't understand that part of being grown, part of being an adult is thinking about what you did in the past and learning from, I'm not even gonna say all of his mistakes, but learning from what you did and see where it got you or didn't get you. Like I tell even my family, like anybody that know me that knew I was doing credit repair in 2018, I was everywhere. When I say I was everywhere in 2018, I'm talking about Cali, Vegas, Virginia, Atlanta. I was everywhere, Florida. I was all these different places. But but I also was in these different places because I was doing business. But and I was a lot in that year I made a lot of money. But if I knew then what I know now, I would have saved all my money that I was making. And I could have been had houses years ago. So I'm not just telling people what to do, how to do. I'm telling them I did all that. I could have been wherever I want. I could have been wherever I wanted to be. I could have did whatever I wanted to do. But if I had somebody in my life like me telling me do this, that, and the third, I could have been had property. So that's what I'll be telling them. I ain't trying to tell you what to do. I don't care about your money. I'm just trying to show you what you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Simple.
I mean, but sometimes people got to go through the pain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the other side of it. Like no matter how much as us as the influencers, right? Like the great term of today in social media, us as the influencers, we could want it off of people, but they just gotta want it or they gotta go through the pain themselves, regardless of.
But you can't save them no more though. You gotta let them go through the pain, man. When it's time to save you, you can't save them because this is what I tell people all the time. Whenever I tell you to do something, like if you come to me for advice, because I'm done in the business of trying to help people because they be like, oh, Jason, think he wants. Listen, bro, I'm just trying to help people, right? If you don't call me for help, I won't give it to you. But the problem is that when you close family members, kids, everybody, right? Like they don't listen to you. Parents, then they get into a bind and you have your own family. Now they put a strain on you and your family because now everything you told them to do, they didn't do. So now you got to put a strain on your family finances or whatever, time, whatever, to now assist them, to help them because they didn't listen to what you told them to do in the first place. Now you're back to the same point you were at before, but you can't say that because then they're like, they expect the help. But now I'm just like a kid, right? Smack their hand off. Nah, figure it out on your own and then let me know how it worked out. Then later you can go help them once they figure it out. But in the meantime, it puts too much strain, bro. Like when you try to help people who don't want to be helped, bro, and if you have it strains everybody, bro. It creates a burden for you. It's hard, bro. It's hard. It's hard. Well, now it's not hard for me. I'll say no quick. Ask me something right now. Ask me something right now. I'm gonna say hell no. Right? I don't care if I got it. I don't care. Like be for real, because you can't stress yourself out about other people. You can only help people who want to be helped. And everybody else, man, Mike's saying, Mike.
What's that? Oh,
fuck them.
Fuck that. You don't need none of that. You got F that. You don't need that.
That's all.
I don't know what it is about me, but lately I've been copying a lot of people. I don't know why. That's just been my thing lately. You know, Gerard, yo, I'm about to nerd out on y'all real quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm
Yo,
about to nerd
chill.
out. Let me
That's false. I don't sound like that at all. At all.
Man, so fellas, we getting ready to close this out, man. Let's give people we gave gems already, right? We gave them a lot of knowledge, we gave them some education, we gave them some things to think about. Let's give them one more. What's one thing people can walk away from an action step that they could take from knowing something and actually being able to do it? What's that one thing you feel like somebody should know right now walking away from this podcast? Take some time to think.
Yo,
Fresh.
whatever you feel they didn't teach you in school, you can learn right now. Don't punch the clock, come home, and go to bed. Yo, keep learning, keep growing, and keep investing in yourself. Make yourself profitable.
Yes, sir. I would say
the biggest one
go ahead.
is figure out what you want in life. Like figure out what you want in life, and then just go after it, man. Spend every waking moment going after it, and then surround yourself with people who want to help you get there. Right? You don't gotta stay around people who are not embracing you and loving you. People, I think that's a misconception that people think they gotta tolerate people. You don't have to tolerate anybody who is not on your frequency, who's embracing you and showing you love every day. You go where the love is, you go where the discipline is, you go where the tough love is, where people are going to hold you accountable, and then you just live in that realm right there. Don't worry about nothing else. Figure out what you want to do, go after it, you'll be happy.
Yes, sir. Hey, Kel, I'm gonna go, then I'm gonna let you go. I would say, man, we talked about it earlier as far as investing in yourself, you know, maybe investing in a financial coach, even if you're still at that point in your life where you feel like investing into talking to someone is a little bit much right now. You may not be ready to take that step. Just go ask for help. Like if the most successful person you know, whoever you're closest to, they don't have to be, you know, a millionaire or anything like that, but just go ask for help. Go figure out like, hey, what can I do to take one extra step, right? Because the ego will keep you poor, will keep you broke if you don't go ask for help. Brother King.
So I would say a lot of times we shy away from the things that we really don't want to do because we feel like they might be hard, even though we know that that's what we should be doing. So do the things you don't want to do so you could be in a better position later, but really do a lot of things that will do a lot of things now that your future would thank you for. So that's doing the research, that's doing the homework, that's putting the money up, that's fixing your credit, that's living below your means, that's not trying to be on every scene, especially if you're not an entrepreneur and you don't got nothing to sell when you're outside. If you have habits, stop those habits for like 6 months to a year and see how better your life could be. See how much money you could save. Stop being around negative environments and negative people that's not pouring into you and showing you how to get to the next level. Like me personally, I don't talk to people. Well, I try not to talk to people that don't inspire me, people that I don't inspire, people that can't help me grow, people that can't help me get to a higher level. And then, you know, also being in those environments. So do all the different things like I just said, and whatever things that you have on your own, like, you know, your own agenda, do those things that that your future would thank you for, and you will be better off doing, because it's going to make your life better.
Most definitely. Man, hey, family, cousins, thank you for tapping in. We appreciate y'all for showing up. Don't forget to like, comment like you guys already been doing, and definitely subscribe on our YouTube and our Facebook, our Instagram at Secure the Bag Podcast. We appreciate everyone for tapping in, man. Listen, if you have any questions in regards to financial advice, financial literacy, anything on mortgage, buying a house, reach out to us, man. We all have our own individual platforms. You know our names: Mike, King, Jason, Gerard. Reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram. Hit us in the DM. But listen, man, we can't control what they don't teach us in school, but we can control what we choose to learn now. Today's bag isn't just about money, it's about mindset, mastery, and moving different than the generation before us. So whether you're fixing your budget, finally checking your credit, or teaching your little cousin how money works, that's how we change the narrative, one decision at a time. Don't keep this game to yourself. Share this episode, send it to your group chat, and start the convo with your people, because when we all learn, we all earn. So until next time, stay focused, stay hungry, and as always, secure that bag. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword, swinging blades at these scrubs. Flock like bugs to the light, getting right. Treat my hoes like these raps. I don't really got a type. Off top bullshit. All I needed was a mic. Yeah. Hey, pass the rock, it's all butter. Pack your bags and take flight. Don't worry, it's all covered. Hey, live your life while you can. Our days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after, clearing up the disaster.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody day's a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Yeah.